Budget Airlines Flight MH185 Eurojet Service Pacific Land Boracay.
So I arrived here and it's a little cloudy, which is usually the case whenever I arrive on island, but I'm hoping the sun comes out in a little bit for a nice sunset. Hello, puppy! Alam nyo, sa dinami-dami ko ng pinuntahang beaches sa buong mundo, wala pa ring papantay sa beach ng Boracay. Tsaka din sa buhangin niya, iba pa rin talagang klase. We are now getting closer to Station 2, and if Station 1 was pretty chill, Station 2 is hopping with so many people. So I've just finished dinner at Aria, one of my favorite restaurants here in Boracay, and I'm freezing because it's really cold right now. Apparently the memo that summer is here hasn't reached the island. So I'm just trying to walk around, getting my body temperature up, and then I'll head back home. But first, a little sandcastle. Morning, or actually it's good noon here in Boracay. I did some work this morning beachside, so I love it when I can do that, when I can set up office by the beach, because it's super relaxing, and I was quickly done and I had a lot of time to lie back, watch the waves roll in, get a nice tan. I'm gonna be doing that again this afternoon, but you know, it almost doesn't feel like work. So this island has seen a lot of commercialization, and the pace has actually quickened in the past 10 years or so. Well, at least ever since I started coming here. They opened a Starbucks like maybe 5-6 years ago. And I made a promise to myself that whenever I'm on this island, I would never go to the Starbucks willingly, and instead patronize one of my favorites here called Real Coffee. And I'm headed over there now for lunch. So I've been coming to Real Coffee ever since I started coming to Boracay, so that's a while. I think, yeah, I've been coming here for 11 years already. But this wasn't its original location. It used to be somewhere in an alley in Markvard. just like this. So what they did when they relocated was they took the entire assembly, the nipa hut, and brought it up here onto the second floor. So this is their specialty, real coffee. So this is brewed coffee with a shot of espresso in it. And it's quite strong. I'm gonna add some milk to it until it gets colored. So that's a lot of milk because this is quite strong. And then this is their signature calamansi muffin. Speaking of which, I need to order some to take back to Manila. So it might seem strange that I'm having this before lunch, but it's just that good. Sometimes you can come here and watch them actually make the muffins. So they pour huge jugs of calamansi juice into them, so you know it's not just flavoring. It's real calamansi. And this is good.
Naka-multi-sport pa rin. Naka-multi-sport pa rin. Naka-watch pa rin. So, si Christine works here in Boracay. No? She's been at Boracay transplant since September. Yep. So, natigil lahat ng kanyang multi-sport training. No more! No more.
Wow! Sorry, ubos na.
Good morning, everyone. Today I am going to try to run along the beach and really see how much of whatever permanent structures were constructed there have been demolished. I did see a few during the past 2 days, but then they were kind of, some of them were really just temporary, like beach umbrellas and barriers between resorts.
Bit of work this morning, beachside. Had to finish up a presentation, but now I have nothing left to do. I might go on the paddle boards again today, although I did get burnt. Like, oh, look at this, I'm super red, I am burnt. But I really enjoyed my time on the paddle boards yesterday, so I might just do that again today.
Wear it now. Go back to then. What? Now. Now? No, I can't. Why? We missed it. When? Just...
It's my last day on this beautiful island. Uy! Paalis na ako, but they're just about to start, so abangan na lang yung videos nila. So it's stinking hot at 10 a.m. and I am walking to Real Coffee to retrieve the calamansi muffins that I ordered yesterday. And my pasalubong for the family. Also, I get one, so that's always good. Okay, now at Real Coffee to pick up my calamansi cakes. Here we go. Hi, for pickup. Noel de Guzman. Oo. Okay na ba ito? Thank you. Okay, so that is my precious cargo and it's coming with me back to Manila. I guess the forecast was wrong. It was supposed to rain at 10 a.m. and it's already 10:30 and there's not a cloud in the sky. Wow. Malambot ako. Yung malambot sa akin. Hi. Okay, so that green thing you see out there is algal bloom. But did you know that Boracay sand is made out of dried algal bloom? So if you dry the algae, it actually becomes the sand. And that's the reason why Boracay sand never gets hot underfoot, even under the most sweltering conditions. Really, the only issue with the algal bloom is when it gets to be too much and it starts looking like pea soup. And it happens during the summer months because heat encourages growth, but also when sewage gets dumped into the water, there's a lot of nutrients for the algae to feed on, and so that they overproduce. And if Boracay continues on its way in which sewage is properly treated and disposed of, then you won't have seas of algal bloom to worry about. I've got a mess of things to pack and then I'm gonna start getting off this island. Didn't realize how much I love Boracay until, you know, it was finally time to leave. But yeah, why one last taste of the island? Little Jonas for Chick. Okay, so I know you all have one single question about coming to Boracay. Is the island going to close? And the answer is, that's still up in the air. It really depends on the concrete actions that the island takes, as well as the decision the government comes to after a certain period of time. It's all messed up because honestly, there are a lot of really weird things going on with regard to zoning, the permits being revoked and all that, and I don't want to get into it, but I did sit with a group of of Boracay's business people yesterday. We were just talking, we were just shooting the breeze, and their main concern is that some people are being denied their rights to due process because certain decisions are being come to that are not in their favor. I mean, even if they were all complying with previous ordinances and regulations and getting the proper permits, now some loopholes are being found and exploited to take things away from people. And you know, the people really hit hardest by all this are the small business owners who don't have any power. They don't have any power to sway decisions. They don't have the money to pay permits and penalties and, you know, hush money. So yeah, I mean, the big hotel chains can do that. They can even weather the island closure because they're funded elsewhere. But for local businesses, if the island closes, then they go out of business, people lose their jobs, and the whole island suffers, really. In all honesty, a lot of these things that are being implemented right now, they've actually been in law or in ordinances for a really long time, and people were just gambling that these things weren't going to be implemented anytime soon. Like this one person who built right on the top of Mount Luho a structure that goes over the highest tree, which is not allowed under DNR rules, but he did it anyway. They have like destroyed certain structures that were built illegally, or they've got them marked for demolition. Businesses are starting to get connected to this proper sewage system, so that's solving the quote-unquote cesspool issue that was mentioned. And I'm confident that this island can back on its feet without being shut down. That being said, when you do come to the island, make sure to patronize the local businesses rather than the entities that have just set up shop here but are actually based elsewhere. Seriously, if you're going to come to Boracay just to eat at a McDonald's or drink at a Starbucks, you're doing it wrong. And what really gets to me is that the person who signed all of these permits, who approved the developments, they're the same people who are actually leading the whole demolition and revocation of permits thing. I mean, if this were a just world, that person would be in jail, not elected to government position. I'm really annoyed because I've been coming to this island for 11 years and I've seen the development. I've seen some of it is beneficial. The other of it is it's really something that happens to all tourist destinations until you put certain controls in place, like maybe limit the number of visitors to the island or limit the kinds of vehicles that are brought onto the island. And yeah, have a solid development plan in place so that you don't have to come in and try to grab land off people so you can widen your road. But yeah, nobody has any foresight here, and that's why we're in this mess. So I'm really hoping for the best resolution to this problem, the Solomonic solution that doesn't involve cutting a baby in half. Because I still want people to come here and enjoy this island for many, many years to come.